artist. Now what?
The actual scripting process, I know some writers find it frustrating. I kind of love it. It's really because I know what the format is now and I know what the story is. Some people are, the terms we use for it are planners or pantsers. So people that fly by the seat of their pants or people that make a plan.
Right.
Thankfully, I'm a planner.
Okay.
So I build a structure. I know what the beginning, middle, and end of the story is going to be. And you try and leave yourself open to the flexibility of new ideas coming into it or brainstorms and things like that that will change it. Mm-hmm. But you still have an overriding structure, which is really valuable. And so once I get down to actually scripting, I'm usually doing between 5 to 10 script pages a day. Mm-hmm. So if things are roaring and I'm not interrupted, I could do a script in 2 days for a comic. Right. But usually I'm interrupted because it's not like you're only working on one project at a time. While you're sending one thing in for approvals, you know, you're doing lettering proofs on a book that's getting finished. Or while you're proposing one idea, someone else is approaching you about another thing. Or while you're outlining one particular concept, you know, the colored pages are coming in for something else and they need your feedback. Or, hey, we've decided when we're launching that project we told you we're going to go ahead with, we need to come up with the ad copy and make sure you sign off on it. Or, you know, get on a phone call and go over stuff for the future, or, you know, any of those things. And so at any particular time, I'm juggling between 4 and 6 different projects. Right. And each of those have got their own mini schedules that are roaring along. And that can be kind of chaotic because I write a few pages, I stop for lunch. All of a sudden, the emails have piled up while I was ignoring them for a few hours. I've got to answer these ones. They're super important. And then the minute you answer them, answers are coming back. And now you're jumping on a phone call and you're like, well, that just melted down my afternoon. Like that's just done. And so sometimes I'm working in the evenings and sometimes I'm waiting to hear back from people. You know, the ideal is like, if you imagine it like hot potato, you know, you're throwing it back to them and then running away and hoping they don't throw it back to you. So
right,
you
exactly.
A little bit of free time in there or whatever. So sometimes, you know, like people say, oh, have you watched, you know, did you finish watching What If? And I'm like, no, I haven't finished watching it yet. And they're like, dude, you work for Marvel. I'm like, yeah, and I got deadlines. That's why I haven't finished watching it yet. I'm sure it's wonderful. I'm very excited. It's not because I don't want to. It's not because I don't care. Man, I still love this stuff to bits, but you're constantly kind of prioritizing these other things to make sure stuff gets done. But yeah, you get these pure bursts where I'm able to sort of put together a script in 2 days and you get that sucker handed in and you cross it off the to-do list and you're like, I'm a writer. And then all of a sudden, all the stuff falls on top and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, or how are we going to get this done? And, you know, it's like every week is a bit of its own kind of adventure. Right. And I like the variety. I like that if something's not working right now creatively, I can kind of step away. There's always something else to do. I can work on some other aspect of it and then come back to it and kind of go, okay, let's refurbish this thing, or let's reorganize it, or try and figure out why it's not coming together the way I want it to, you know.